She thought he was just a poor, smelly man begging for water. But when he returned dressed as a prince, the truth hit harder than any slap. He was the wealthy and powerful prince she had been dreaming of all her life. A long time ago, in the colorful village of Onicha, there lived a girl named Oma. Oma was not just beautiful. She was very beautiful. Her skin shone like polished bronze under the sun. Her eyes sparkled like water in a fresh river. Even the flowers seemed to bend toward her when she walked by. People in the village would stop and stare when she passed. Some said the gods must have carved her themselves. Others whispered that her beauty was too perfect to be normal. But Oma's beauty came with something else, pride. Oma knew she was the most beautiful maiden in Onicha, and she never let anyone forget it. She would look at other girls and laugh, saying things like, "Look at your rough skin. Are you sure you're even a girl?" Or, "You better hide that face before a bird mistakes it for its nest." The other maidens hated hearing her speak like that. Some were jealous. Others just shook their heads and sighed. "She's too spoilt." You see, Oma never fetched water from the stream. She never went to the farm. She didn't sweep the compound. She didn't even cook. Why? Because of her mother, Isioma, the village's famous black soap seller. Isioma loved her daughter so much, she treated her like a princess already. She would say, "No, Oma can't go to the farm. What if she cuts her hand with a hoe? No, she must not go to the stream. The sun will make her dark." Every time Isioma made her black soap, she added special oils and fragrant roots only for Oma's soap, so her daughter would shine brighter than any other girl. And Oma, oh, she enjoyed all the attention. When the village girls gathered to sing or play, Oma would sit with her arms crossed, fanning herself and rolling her eyes. "I don't mix with poor people," she once said loud enough for everyone to hear. One night, as the moon lit the village in silver light, Oma sat beside her mother, combing her long, shiny hair. She sighed deeply and said, "Mama, I will never marry a poor man. I want a rich and powerful prince. One with gold, horses, and servants, so I can live in a palace and give orders all day." Isioma smiled, nodding proudly. "Don't worry, my jewel. You are the most beautiful girl in this kingdom. No, in the whole world. Prince will come. Your beauty will fetch you everything you want." Soon news of Oma's beauty spread far and wide. From one village to the next, people talked about the girl in Onicha with the glowing skin and sparkling eyes. And then, suitors started coming. Some came with bags of yams, some brought goats, and others came with fine cloths and beautiful beads. Mothers came with their sons. Fathers came with promises. Some suitors came on foot, others came on horses. But every time someone came to ask for Oma's hand in marriage, she would fold her arms, look at them from head to toe, and ask just one question. "Are you a prince?" If the man said no, Oma would wave her hand like she was chasing away a fly and say, "Then go away. I am too beautiful to marry just any man." Sometimes she didn't just turn them down. Well, she would shout at them, "Leave my compound at once. You poor, wretched man. How dare you think you're good enough for me?" There was even a day when one kind-looking man offered her a golden bracelet and said, "Oma, I may not be a prince, but I will treat you like a queen." But Oma laughed loudly, took a cup of cold water and poured it on his head. "Take your golden nonsense and go. I don't want a kind man. I want a rich prince. A powerful prince." The man left in shame, water dripping from his face, the bracelet still in his hand. Even men from faraway villages came to see her. Some came with long journeys behind them. But still Oma sent them away. "You are not a prince," she'd say. "You are not rich. You are not powerful. Go back to wherever you came from." At the market, under the mango tree, the village maidens would sit in circles and gossip. "Who does Oma think she is?" one girl whispered. "She will keep saying no until she grows old and no prince ever comes," another said, rolling her eyes. Some were angry, some were jealous, others just laughed. But Oma, she didn't care. Every day, she would sit in front of her mother's hut, rubbing her smooth legs with special black soap oil and dreaming of a tall, handsome prince riding into the village with gold chains, white horses, and loud drums. He will come, she told herself. He will see me. He will fall in love. And I will be a queen with 10 maids and a golden fan. Her mother, Isioma, would smile proudly and say, "Your beauty is not for just anybody. You're right to wait, my daughter." And so Oma waited, and kept saying no to every man who came her way. One hot afternoon, the sun was high in the sky. Oma and her mother sat under a big orange tree beside their hut. The leaves gave them cool shade, and the sweet smell of ripe oranges filled the air. They were eating roasted yam dipped in red palm oil. The yam was soft and smoky. The oil dripped down Oma's fingers as she licked them slowly, enjoying every bite. Suddenly, a tall horse came trotting by. Sitting on it was a man dressed in fine clothes. His skin smooth, his body strong. His eyes were sharp like a hawk's, and his necklace sparkled in the sun. It was Prince Chui, the only son of the king of Anioma Kingdom. As he rode past, his eyes caught a glimpse of Oma. She sat beneath the tree, her face glowing in the sunlight, her white teeth showing as she smiled at something her mother said. Prince Chui stopped. He pulled on the reins, and his horse slowed down with a quiet snort. He stared at her. He stared long and hard. But Oma didn't see him. She was busy laughing with her mother and licking palm oil from her fingers. In that quiet moment, the prince said in his heart, "She is so beautiful. She looks like a goddess. I will come back for her." He rode away slowly, but his heart stayed behind. That night, in his large room filled with gold, silk, and sweet perfumes, Prince Chui could not sleep. He turned to the left. He turned to the right. But sleep refused to come. He sat up on his bed, staring at the moon outside his window. "How can a human be that beautiful?" he whispered. "She looked like a dream, a goddess from the sky." He stood up, paced the room, and said to himself, "I must go back to Onicha. I must find her. I will make her my queen." By morning, the prince had made a plan. He called one of his most trusted guards. The guard's name was Chui. He was brave, strong, and loyal. But the prince gave him a strange order. "Chui," he said, "I want you to go to Onicha. Find the girl I saw sitting under the orange tree. Don't go as a guard. Don't wear your royal clothes. Dress like a farmer. Pretend you want to buy something. Find out her name and come back to me." "Yes, my prince," Chui said, bowing low. Later that day, Chui dressed like a simple farmer. He carried a small bag and walked the long road to Onicha. When he reached the village, he walked past the market, past the old palm tree, and then, just as the prince said, he saw her. She sat under the same orange tree, this time watching over her mother's tray of native black soap. Her eyes were shining, her skin glowing like morning sun, and her wrapper tied neatly around her waist. Chui walked up to her slowly. "Good day," he said, trying to sound like a poor farmer. "Please, I want to buy soap." Oma looked at him, unimpressed. She reached for the soap and handed it to him. "1 piece or 2, she asked, chewing gum lazily. "1, Chui said. Then he added, "Please, what is your name?" Oma raised her eyebrow but answered, "Oma." Chui nodded. "Thank you," he said, collected the soap, paid her, and walked away. He didn't look back. That night, Chui returned to Anioma. He went straight to the prince's palace. He knelt and said, "My prince, I found her. Her name is Oma." Prince Chui smiled. Deep, satisfied smile. He stood up from his chair, stretched his arms, and whispered, "Oma, so that is your name. Soon you will be my queen." The sun was hot that afternoon. The road to the market was dusty, and birds flew lazily above the trees. Oma was carrying a small basket of food on her head. It was for her mother, who was selling soap at the market. She walked slowly, her fine slippers making soft sounds on the ground. Just before she reached the market, an old woman stepped out of the bushes. Her hair was gray, and she leaned on a crooked stick. Her eyes looked tired but wise. She raised a wrinkled hand and said gently, "My daughter, you are very beautiful." Oma stopped and blinked. "But you need more than beauty to get what you want," the woman said in a soft, crackly voice. "You need to be kind, patient, and welcoming." Oma looked at her, frowning. The old woman's eyes shone as she said, "The prince you are waiting for will come, but not in royal clothes or on a horse. If you are not kind and patient, you will miss him." Oma blinked again. She looked the old woman up and down, then scoffed and walked away without saying a word. Her slippers hit the ground harder this time. That night, far away in Anioma Kingdom, Prince Chikudi entered his father's chambers. The walls were lined with golden shields and animal skins. The king sat on a big carved chair, holding a cup of palm wine. "Father," the prince began, "I saw a maiden in Onicha, the most beautiful I have ever seen. I want to marry her." The king smiled and nodded. "Then go ahead, my son." But the prince shook his head. "Not yet. First I must test her heart. I need to know what kind of person she is inside." The king thought for a moment and then said, "Very wise. Do what you must." The next morning, Prince Chikudi dressed like a poor hunter. He carried a small bag and walked the long road to Onicha. When he reached the village, he saw Oma sitting under the same orange tree. She was combing her hair slowly, humming a song. He walked up to her and said in a weak voice, "Please, I'm very thirsty. I've been in the bush since yesterday. I live very far. Could you give me just a cup of water to drink?" Oma stopped combing her hair and looked at him. She frowned. She wrinkled her nose. "You smell so bad," she snapped. "How do you expect me to give you my cup? Do I look like a slave? Or does this place look like a river to you?" The prince said nothing. He turned around and walked away, his heart heavy. That night at home, he lay on his bed staring at the ceiling. Why would someone so beautiful be so mean, he wondered. Maybe, just maybe, she was having a bad day. The next day, the prince dressed as a poor farmer. His feet were dusty and his shirt was stained. He returned to Onicha and found Oma again under the orange tree. She was eating fried plantain and beans from a wooden plate. Before he could speak, Oma looked up and her eyes narrowed. "You again," she said sharply. "What do you want this time?" "Please," the prince said softly. "I'm very hungry. Have no food at home. Could I have just a little bite?" Oma's eyes widened in anger. "Are you mad?" she shouted. "Look at you. You're dirty and poor." The prince stood still. Oma picked up her plate and threw the leftover food at him, the beans splashing on his clothes. "Get away from me," she screamed. "You beggar." Prince Chikudi walked away slowly. That night, he sat by his window, looking out at the stars. "She is rude. She is wicked. She looks down on people," he said to himself. "She is not fit to be a queen." But he wasn't done. "One last test," he whispered. "Just one more." The next morning, the prince dressed like a palm wine tapper. His wrapper was tied tightly around his waist, and his body smelled of sweat and tree sap. He carried a long stick and wore a gourd on his back. He went back to Onicha. Oma was sitting beside her mother's tray of black soap, fanning herself lazily. The prince walked up and said gently, "Please, can I sit here for a little while?" Oma turned and looked at him with disgust. "You stink," she shouted. "You can't sit near me. What brought you here again?" Prince Chikudi took a deep breath. "Oma," he said quietly, "I like you. I want you to be my wife." Oma laughed loudly. Are you out of your mind?" she said, pointing at him and laughing even harder. "You poor, dirty, smelly man. Do you know how beautiful I am?" She stood up and walked closer to him. "I'm only fit to marry a rich and powerful prince. He will come one day. But you're a nobody." Prince Chikudi stayed calm. He looked at her with sad eyes and said, But I truly care about you. Oma's face turned red with anger. She picked up a bucket filled with water, and before anyone could say a word, she poured the whole thing on him. Water splashed everywhere. "Don't ever come here again," she screamed. "Nonsense, man." The prince stood there for a moment, soaked and silent. Then he walked away. That night, Prince Chikuti sat quietly in his royal chambers. His golden lamp flickered softly. He looked sad as he spoke to his father. "Father, I have made my decision. I cannot marry Oma." The king raised his eyebrow. "Why, my son?" Prince Chikuti sighed. "She is beautiful, yes. But she has no kindness in her heart. She insulted me, mocked me, and poured water on me just because I looked poor. She does not have the heart of a queen." The king nodded slowly. "You are wise, my son. I am proud of your decision." Prince Chikuti stood up, his eyes sharp now. "But I will teach her a lesson. She must understand that beauty without kindness is nothing." One bright morning, Oma's mother, Isioma, was making her special black soap under the orange tree. She sang happily as she stirred the big pot. Suddenly, 2 royal guards walked toward her. Isioma gasped. "Good morning, noble guards. What brings you here?" The taller guard spoke. "We bring a message from the prince of Anioma Kingdom. It is for Oma." Isioma's eyes widened. "Oma has gone to the river to bathe. You may tell me." The guard nodded. "The prince has heard about Oma's beauty. In 3 market days, he will come to declare his love and ask for her hand in marriage. Prepare to welcome him." Isioma almost dropped her stirring stick. "Ea!" she shouted with joy. "The gods have answered my prayers." When Oma returned from the river, her mother ran to her. "Oma, Oma, the prince is coming for you." Oma dropped her water pot. "What? The prince?" "Yes, in 3 market days. He wants to marry you." Oma jumped up and clapped her hands. "I told you I was meant for royalty," she laughed. "I will be Queen Oma of Anioma." That night she couldn't sleep. She rolled on her mat and giggled to herself. "I will wear the best clothes. I will sit beside the king. I will wave at people. I will be powerful and rich." The whole village heard the news. People whispered and pointed. "The prince is coming for Oma." Oma and her mother started preparing. They bought fine wrappers with shining gold lines, beads that danced when she moved, red oil and special soap to make her skin glow like the morning sun. "Don't go under the sun," her mother warned. "You must look perfect." Finally the day came. They swept the compound 10 times. They cooked yam porridge, roasted bushmeat, and made sweet palm wine. Oma wore a bright yellow wrapper with red beads around her neck and ankles. Her skin sparkled. Her smile was wide. Drums beat loudly. People came from far and near to watch. Then they saw him, Prince Chikuti, riding on a tall, shiny horse. His royal robe flowed behind him. His crown sparkled under the sun. Oma and her mother knelt down and greeted him. Prince Chikuti looked at Oma with calm eyes. "Do you recognize me?" he asked. Oma smiled and said sweetly, "No, my prince. We have never met before." The prince's face turned serious. "Do you remember a man who begged you for water and you refused?" Oma's eyes shifted. "Yes, I think I do." "Do you remember a man who begged for food and you poured it on him?" Oma's hands began to shake. "Yes, I remember." "Do you remember a palm wine tapper who asked to marry you, and you poured water on him?" Tears began to gather in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. Prince Chikuti stood tall and said loudly, "I was that man. I came in different forms to test your heart. But each time you were unkind, rude, and proud." Gasps filled the air. "I liked you when I first saw you," he continued. "I wanted to make you my queen. But now I know you are not fit for the crown." He looked into her eyes. "Beauty can be seen with the eyes, but true character is seen with the heart. You failed the test of kindness, and for that reason I will not marry you." Oma dropped to her knees. "Please, my prince. I didn't know. Forgive me," she cried. She held his feet and begged. But Prince Chukudi gently stepped away. "May you learn from this," he said. He turned and rode away, his guards following behind. Oma sat on the ground and wept. Her mother wept too. From that day, no man came to ask for Oma's hand in marriage. They all remembered what the prince said. Oma stayed in the village, sad and alone. Her beauty faded with time, but her regret grew stronger each day. And that is how Oma learned the hard way that beauty is not enough. Kindness, patience, and humility are what truly make a queen.